Ethereum virtual machines provided. Now here JavaScript, two virtual machines are provided, injected Web3 and Web3 provided. Now, when we are using this executing the smart contract, we are using this default one, JavaScript virtual machine London. Now the Web3 objects can be used, but you will need to design the separate user interface. But now this for that जो भी हम यहाँ पे जो ये URL that is we are using HTTPS. So Web 3.0 objects will not be यहाँ पे हम यूज नहीं कर रहे. We are going to use only simple interface जो यहीं पे हमें जो भी मेथड्स लिखेंगे, सो या फिर जो भी पब्लिक मेंबर्स रहेंगे या फिर मेथड्स लिखेंगे उनको एक्सेस करने के लिए जो इंटरफेस होगा वो इसी पैनल में आपको दिखेगा. बट इफ यू वांट टू राइट सेपरेट इंटरफेस बाय यूजिंग द डिफरेंट टूल्स लाइक the objects which are provided by Web 3.0 or by using there are different tools which are used for designing the user interface for the smart contract. तो अगर ऐसा कोई ऑब्जेक्ट यूज करना है तो हम डिफरेंट वर्चुअल मशीन यूज कर सकते हैं. देन नेक्स्ट इज द different accounts which are provided by default. Here 10 to 15 accounts are there. 15 accounts are provided with some fake ether values, like यहाँ पे 100 ether values are provided. So these account addresses can be used for executing the transactions. Now when we are writing the transaction, that should be initiated by certain address, okay, या फिर sender. So we can make use of any of this address, and for performing the operations within the transaction we can make use of these other addresses as well. तो यहाँ पे by default 15 addresses are provided, तो इसमें से कोई भी एड्रेस हम यूज कर सकते हैं. Then for that particular execution gas limit is provided. Even you can specify for the particular transaction to happen, if you want to provide certain input value that can be provided from this value. Okay, once you compare you will see the list of contract details over here, and then this panel itself will provide you the different methods कि जैसे हम अगर real estate वाला अब यहाँ पे करने वाले हैं तो it is having the method buy house. Then there are certain variables that is called as a state variable, तो उनको कैसे access करना है, that can be done by using this particular panel only. Okay, now then there are some other icons are there, that is solidity static analysis. Then there is a this plugin is there, and then solidity unit testing. So we are not going for our assignment demo, we are not going to use these three. We are हमारे लिए ये तीन जो icons है they are required. Okay, so this is related with some unit testing when the contracts are created. Even some additional plugins can be provided by using this plugin manager, and at the end there is a setting option is there. Actually ये यहाँ पे end में setting option है. Using that even you can change the things. Okay, तो जो भी ये browser based ID उसका उसके settings अगर change करना है, then you can make use of this particular setting. यहाँ पे themes वगैरह provided. I will just change and then I will come back. Okay, so this is icon panel, and when you select a particular icon from the icon panel, all the this particular side panel will have the detail list about the options which are there in the particular menu, we can say. And this will be the main menu जहाँ पे आपके फाइल सबको आपका कोड लिखा जाएगा. और जो ये टर्मिनल है दिस इज अ टर्मिनल पैनल। यहाँ पे जो भी ट्रांजेक्शन एग्जीक्यूशन होंगे उसके सारे डिटेल्स यहाँ पे विल एबल टू सी दोज डिटेल्स। ओके, तो दिस इज in short brief introduction about the this remix ethereum id। now हमें देखना है कि we have to execute the smart contract related। so already I have created one file called as a real estate dot real estate smart contract। okay, so first I will explain this code and then we will execute this code and we will see how this contract gets executed। okay, so I will just increase the font। now whenever you will you want to add the new file, there is a new file option is there। okay, यहाँ पे new file option is there। this is new file option, you can create a new file and you can rename name it। okay, so यहाँ पे I have created a real estate file। since it is using the solidity language, the extension is SOL। ठीक है, solidity के लिए extension है SOL। so it this language is the object oriented language। object oriented language means it will make use of the concepts which are there in the object oriented programming, like classes, interfaces, then constructors, then we can have then event handlers। so these are the different concepts that can be that are there in the object oriented language। so solidity will be similar, it will make use of the classes, interfaces, functions, constructors। okay, तो we'll see it one by one कि कैसे यहाँ पे ये program लिखा गया है। now out of this the first line you will see that is called as a directive। directive is a there is a pragma directive, it will specify the which solidity version we are using in writing the smart contract। now here I have written 0.4.19। so there are different versions, we can write any version over here। so it will be written as a pragma solidity caret symbol and then the version is written in 3। this is major version, minor version, dot dot ये 3 डॉट में से फर्स्ट इज मेजर वर्जन, माइनर एंड दिस इज अ पैच नंबर ऐसे बोला जाता है इसमें। ओके, सो we have to first it will mention the pragma it will tell the virtual machine that this source code is written in what type of solidity version। okay, this communicate it will inform the it will just tell that source code is written in solidity version so and so। okay, because every version has some added new functionality, so when that particular code will get executed it will have only that specific it should access only that specific functionality, that's why। now next is whenever we are writing the contract, it is the help of it is like similar to writing the class in Java or C++। so we have to write the contract, it is a like class only, so contract and the name। here we are writing, we have written the real estate as a name, we can see and it will then we are going to real estate ओपनिंग क्लोजिंग, दैट इज जैसे क्लास का डेफिनेशन होगा वैसे कॉन्ट्रैक्ट का डेफिनेशन होगा, बट इन राइटिंग क्लास डेफिनेशन इन जावा सी प्लस प्लस वी राइट क्लास में ओपनिंग क्लोजिंग ब्रैकेट। यहाँ पे कॉन्ट्रैक्ट कीवर्ड कॉन्ट्रैक्ट नेम ओपनिंग क्लोजिंग ब्रैकेट ऑल द डेफिनेशन यहाँ पे मेंशन करना है। नाउ व्हेन वी आर राइटिंग the constructor in C plus or Java, we write the same name as that of a class name। so here also the constructor name will be written as same as that of a contract name and it will be used to initialize some value। okay, now here we have taken for this release 3 to 4 this पब्लिक जहाँ पे मेंशन किया दैट इज द 4 वेरिएबल्स आर देयर, they are called as a state variable.
बोलो.
And one is the private one. Now
बोलो.
These variables are seller will contain the address of the seller of the this real estate. Buyer, it will contain the address of the buyer. Then street address will be the address of the asset which is going to be sold. Then price of that real estate, and then the title means the name, you can say. Now Solidity will support 3 different types of variables. One is called as a local variable, another is called as a global variable, and then state variables. Okay. Now whenever we are writing this public word, it is going to create the state variables. So this contract जो outside the contract is variables can be accessed, but it will not be directly accessed. This ID or Solidity will provide one methods for accessing these variables like seller, buyer, street address, and price. So that they are called as the getter method. Okay. So getter methods will be provided. Using that we can access who is the seller, who is buyer, what is the address of, and what is the price of the real estate. That we'll see while execution. And then the title, that is the name of the real estate. Now all these values we are going to initialize in the constructor. Okay. जब कंस्ट्रक्टर लिखा गया है, कंस्ट्रक्टर को लिखने के लिए फंक्शन एंड द name of the constructor is same that of a smart contract. So you can see here real estate. Now जो भी variables use किए हैं, that is all these 4 state variables and 1 private member. So that is initialized over here. So seller is initialized. Now this seller should you can see the data type of this seller is address. Okay. Buyer is the address. Now this Solidity provide different types of data. It supports the different data types. Okay, it is a we can say it is a typed language. Typed language means whenever any particular variable needs to be used, whether it is a state variable or the local variable, it should be the type of that particular variable needs to be specified at before the compilation. जैसे हमने अभी तक जो languages देखे, they are all type languages only, like C++ or Java. Okay. Address. So data types supported by the this Solidity language, it supports different data types. Some are called as a primitive types. Primitive types like the basic, or we can say elementary data types, and using that some data types can be generated. Okay. So like in the Java we have the primitive types like int, char. Okay. And using that we can have the complex data types created. So similarly data types, some data types are supported. So integer data types is also there. Integer data type is there. Then string bytes are there. Boolean is there. So but integer will have different versions, like integer to 56. Similarly we can have only signed integer as well. Then hex is also there, bytes is there, enumerations we can create. But there is one data type that is represented as address. Address is representing the sender who has initiated the particular transaction. Okay. तो जो भी contract accounts होंगे, तो वो particular या कॉन्ट्रैक्ट अकाउंट कौन से अकाउंट से क्रिएट हुआ है. तो यहाँ पे जब हमने वाला पेन देखा था, और जब डिप्लॉय रन वाला वहाँ पे एड्रेसेस देखे थे अकाउंट. तो फॉर टेस्टिंग 10 different addresses are provided. So we can, any of this address can be used to create this particular contract. ओके। एंड जो भी उसमें जो भी फंक्शंस लिखेंगे तो फंक्शंस कॉल करने के लिए भी हम इसमें से कोई एड्रेस यूज कर सकते हैं। कैसे करना है we'll see while execution. Okay, so this will just initialize the data members. अब यहाँ पे initialize जो किया है there is a default object message, okay, which has a sender attribute, we can say. So the one who has created this particular smart contract, उसका एड्रेस हम एक्सेस कर सकते हैं मैसेज डॉट सेंडर से। ओके, अब हमने जो स्लाइड थर्ड चैप्टर में ट्रांजैक्शन एंड द मैसेज, ओके, ये इथेरियम ट्रांजैक्शन इथेरियम मैसेजेस ये टॉपिक देखा था। उसमें हर एक इथेरियम ट्रांजैक्शन और इथेरियम मैसेजेस के एट्रीब्यूट्स देखे थे, फील्ड्स देखे थे। उसमें सेंडर एंड इवन देयर इज अ वैल्यू फील्ड व्हिच वी आर रेफरिंग ओवर हियर। ओके, तो सेंडर क्या करेगा, हु हैज सेंड द पर्टिकुलर मैसेज, हु हैज सेंड द मैसेज, इट मींस हु हैज क्रिएटेड। अब ये कंस्ट्रक्टर कब इन्वोक होगा, व्हेन द कॉन्ट्रैक्ट विल गेट क्रिएटेड। ओके, फर्स्ट टाइम। तो वो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट क्रिएट करते टाइम किसने, जो भी who has created this contract, उसका एड्रेस सेंडर से मिलेगा, वो सेलर में स्टोर हो जाएगा। then street address is assigned to some value, you can write any address। title टाइटल मतलब वो पर्टिकुलर होम का टाइटल, यहाँ पे कुछ वैल्यू दिया है, we can have some value। generally these addresses should be encrypted one, okay, but I have just randomly put some values। and then the price is there। price here it has been given as a 99 ethers। now we have seen one ether is one ether is equal to 10 ethers to 80 weight, W, that is WEI। The one ether is broken into smaller units, and the basic unit is weight, that is a WE, it is unit is a unit, it is represented by this symbol, and it is one ether is equal to raised to raised to 18, that has been represented over here, that value. Okay, now here we are having in this smart contract only one function, that is a buy house, which will where this value will be subtracted from the sender's value, and it will be added into the sellers जो भी कॉन्ट्रैक्ट जिसने क्रिएट किया है उसके अकाउंट में ये ऐड किया जाएगा। Now this buy house is one of the function। Now here the functions are written with the syntax function, then function name। Now it is a public, okay, public means it will be accessed outside this contract। Okay, now then there is a keyword one payable, it means that this function can be used for transferring the ether, so that's why the keyword payable is there। Okay, now when this particular transaction or this particular function will be executed, it is having certain, it will test if suppose कि बाय हाउस ये फंक्शन कॉल किया, तो जो भी the one who has invoked this particular function is a buyer, उसका एड्रेस ये बायर वेरिएबल में स्टोर होना चाहिए। ओके, और जो भी वैल्यू उसने पास किया है that should be transferred to the seller's account। okay, तो ये that is done by these two statements, that is buyer equal to the message dot sender। ये buy house जो अकाउंट ने कॉल किया होगा, अकाउंट मतलब यहाँ पे हम 10 अकाउंट है, उसमें से कोई एक अकाउंट सिलेक्ट कर सकते हैं to invoke this particular function। the one who has invoked this function, that is the account who wants to buy this particular house, तो उसका जो एड्रेस होगा वो बायर में स्टोर हो जाएगा by using the message dot sender method। and then the value will be passed when that particular transaction will get called. This buy house function will get called, and that value should be transferred to the seller's account by using the transfer function. Okay, but for executing this, there should be certain requirement. Requirement matlab we should not sell the house which is not even created. मतलब अगर कोई seller है ही नहीं तो this buy house function should not get executed. Okay, so here we are using some function. It will be tested before executing. Otherwise, if this condition does not match, then this particular function will not get executed. Okay. Now, if this account is created, the smart contract is created, the seller जो state variable होगा, it will not be empty. Okay, so it will not be empty. So if requirement is seller address should not be empty. Address, since it is representing in hexadecimal, we are checking like this 0x0. Okay, so if it should not be empty, even when the particular function will be called, it should be called through some account. मतलब there is some address associated with that buyer. So this buyer इससे पहले किसी ने वो होम मतलब ये बाय हाउस फंक्शन कॉल नहीं किया होना चाहिए. तो अगर ये फर्स्ट person who is invoking this particular buy house method, so that address should be equal to 0. अगर already who has some address, so it means that it is trying to call that function twice. तो ये ऐसे नहीं होना चाहिए. Once that house is sale होता है तो it will not be the sale again. Okay, तो buyer address should be 0 at the beginning. Then जो seller है उसी ने buy house method को call नहीं करना चाहिए. So we are writing we have written the requirement that message dot sender should not be equal to seller. Okay, and जो value method pass किया है ये फंक्शन को उसका और ये प्राइस सेम होना चाहिए. ओके, मतलब the house will be brought for that particular amount, that is a 99 ether. Okay, so this is just the one smart contract. Now यहाँ पे I'm just executing it. Just minimize because ये कुछ options यहाँ पे नीचे आएंगे. Here since we have selected this file, यहाँ पे message आया है compile real estate. Okay, now I need to again short minimize this. Okay, so compile will compile this particular smart contract, and now for deploying and executing the smart contract, we have to go to this particular tab, that is a deploy and run transaction. Okay, now here once the compilation is done, यहाँ पे contract जो create हुआ है उसका list आ जाएगा. Now here we want to deploy the smart contract, so that we have to first select one of the address. कि यहाँ पे 15 addresses है, 15 में से कोई एक address हम select कर सकते हैं. Now suppose अगर just want to increase the terminal. Okay, I'm using the first address जहाँ पे it is ending with ETTC4. Okay, so this will be treated as a one who want to sell particular real estate. Okay, अब यहाँ पे actually you will see some वाला ओके दिस इज अ डिप्लॉयड कॉन्ट्रैक्ट ये डिप्लॉय एंड रन में है ये मिनिमाइज था एंड टू मैक्सिमाइज तो जो भी स्टेट वेरिएबल से एंड जो भी मेथड से you will be able to access the values of this particular state variables अब यहाँ पे you can see the if I click on a buyer the address is 000 means there is not any buyer at value is assigned to the variable buyer price we have initialized जो भी value initialize किया है वही आएंगे and here it is a address which is the one who has created this smart contract. Now the address I have used for creating the smart contract is the first one. You can see here the address is last one beginning wala 5b3 5b3 okay initially this was having the 100 ether okay but for creating a smart contract some gas will be required and that you can see now the available ether in this account is 100 nahi hai it has reduced because for creating the account some gas value is used by the EVM okay and now if I select another account suppose I will select this one जहाँ पे 617 initial value है and this account will now invoke the transaction that is a buy house so here this sorry but मैंने यहाँ पे value pass नहीं किया था okay value was not passed so that transaction will not be executed because the value here was not matched with the value which is required जो कि हमने requirement transaction में mention किया था that value should match with the price but यहाँ पे value 0 किया है so it has not been that transaction has been reverted okay so suppose if I again use the same but since the transaction is performed some ethers will be deducted I will use the same account with the value as a 99 and then using the buy house so you can see here sorry I will use another account मैं बोलती हूँ क्या इशू हुआ है CA3 is used and now here 99 but हमने unit दिया था देना था ether okay and then we have to call the buy house now you can see here the transaction details will be listed and now if you take the address of the buyer so here the address of buyer will be listed now in the previous account जो भी ये वाला लिया था एक तो value initially 0 दिया था and the जो unit था it should be ether तो वो default unit था wait so that transaction was not got executed तो ये transaction fail हुआ था मतलब it has been reverted so in this way we can make use of this particular IDE to write the smart contract then you can compile the smart contract and even using this IDE we can deploy and test the smart contract on the by using this browser based IDE okay so this is just demo of a smart contract tomorrow we'll complete the assignment 5 and 6 okay which are there in the syllabus so today we'll stop and we'll complete this particular assignment that is related with the bank that is withdrawal deposit and another